Go.
Good morning. It is March 27th, 2020, our second official YouTube video. We are in southern Illinois. My sister and brother-in-law's farm. Stuck here in quarantine. We were scheduled to be in Bryce Canyon National Park on the 1st of April to start our second work camping job, and that of course has been postponed because of the coronavirus. So we're lucky enough to have a place to stay here at my sister Rosemary, my brother-in-law Dwayne's place, and my niece Leah, until this stuff is over with, till it blows over and everything, America starts opening back up. Anyway, we're just taking you on a little trip to the store with us. Hang on, let me get this so the hood's not showing. Okay. Looks like neighbors. We'll slow down so we don't run over the dog. Anyway, the other night on the way in, we were able to get on a live chat with Steve Turtle, who after that subscribed to us, and we realized we haven't put any videos on yet. So we decided to go ahead and put our first video on, our first official video.
Okay, he's clear.
Okay. Dog is clear.
Yes.
A lot of dogs get run over out here. We made a video yesterday on the way into town, but the volume wasn't working, so we're doing another one. There goes another dog. That's Kevin's dog. The volume didn't work, so we're doing another one. We're on our way to the bank. Got to put some money in my checking account. So we thought we'd just show you the road. It's beautiful out here. It's going to start spring any day now. It is 74 degrees. It's gorgeous. Baby?
Yep.
You got anything to say?
You do know where you're going in Harrisburg to go to Mackey's and everything, right?
Yes. Sorry, guys. I'm going to take this phone off of here for a second. Over here is Kevin's place, and that's the pond that we fish. You can hardly see it from here, but anyway, it's a 12-acre pond that we fish when we're up here. Here's Roger.
That Dwayne, Bobby's brother-in-law, he dug that several years ago, and that's his brother's house.
Roger. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, show me so everybody knows who I am.
There she is.
Hi.
Driving Betsy.
It's not Corona, it's the dust here. We got the window rolled in. Dust is horrible here.
And the fields are beautiful right now. That's all that green, bright green there to the left is the new crop of wheat coming in.
Oh, wait a second. You're right, you had that. Okay, guys, I think we're situated now. Bear with us. Anyway, we just wanted to share with you. We're going to start doing the YouTube videos now that we have some time on our hands to figure this stuff out. Some people, our friends and family, can keep track of us, visit. Maybe once a week we'll do one. Today's Friday. We might as well do it today since we're going into town. It's not as bad up here as far as lines at the grocery store or anything like that. Went to a little mom and pop store yesterday. They had bread, they had everything. Nothing was off the shelf except for toilet paper for some reason, but it's crazy times in the world right now. But we started our adventure the last day of August, we left Rockledge, Florida, where we had our rig parked. And
with the forecast of a Cat 5 hurricane coming in behind us.
on our way to Lazy Days for a few days, or what we had planned on for a few days, with our friends David and Kimmy Kitchen. David rode with Roger because it was Roger's first time pulling the rig. Escaping a hurricane, which was, our nerves were about shot, but we had a great day that day. Got to Lazy Days, got the rig parked. We ended up staying there about 10 days because we had to get our air conditioner fixed and refrigerator fixed, and we had a warranty. So we figured go ahead and get that done. And then our next stop was Bushnell, Florida. This was our 2 months we had planned to take off. All of September, all of October, and then November we started our first job. But this was basically our plans were to take 2 months off, visit friends and family, go to the rendezvous in Arkansas, work camper rendezvous in Arkansas, which we did, which landed us our first job in the Everglades. So we kind of started out Lazy Days for 10 days. That was not a whole lot of fun because it was very hot and we were just basically waiting on getting our air conditioner fixed. So it wasn't like a fun vacation time at all. And then we left there and went to Bushnell to establish our domicile. Right, baby? Is that what you call it?
Yep. Establish our domicile, our permanent legal residence. We got our license, our driver's licenses changed, and got our registrations changed over on the on our vehicles. That was relatively painless. We thought it would be a hassle dealing with the DMV, but as it turned out, we drew a very nice lady that had done the same thing for another escapees member that very morning. So she knew exactly what we were doing and what paperwork we needed. And she was very, very easy to deal with and to satisfy with the paperwork requirements.
And for those of our friends or family that don't know about escapees, that's a group that you join, which is awesome. And they give you your domicile, so you have a legal address. You pick what state you want. Escapees is Florida and Texas, right?
And South Dakota.
And South Dakota, which we're already Florida residents, so we wanted to keep that. They give you a mailing address. That happens to be in Livingston, Texas. And then this way you can get your mail still. And then when you're at a spot where you're at a few days, you can get your mail forwarded to you. And you have a legal Florida address.
Yeah, because they own the parks that we use for our addresses.
So where did we go next? Oh wait, tell them about the donkeys.
Oh yeah, we've had some challenges, and there was a big one while we were in Bushnell. Our bathroom flooded, and I had to do a repair on the toilet. We had gone walking around the neighborhood and actually stopped and had a beer with a nice couple that we had met. And when we got back home, we walked into a flood. So instead of having a nice dinner and a relaxing evening, we were mopping up water out of the front bathroom and cleaning up down in the basement. It was quite depressing. And after we got everything cleaned up, we were sitting and trying to unwind and wondering about the choices we had made. And we were right at the edge of the park, adjacent to some fenced-in farmland, and just out of nowhere, about a dozen donkeys came up, and were wanting to make friends and get fed and get petted. And that was just really a neat moment. And that kind of cheered us up and broke our mood and raised our spirits. Then from when we left Bushnell, we were on our way up to the Atlanta area, and we spent the next night at a Harvest Host location, which was actually a goat farm, and also an orchard. Very nice lady there, also named Bobby, took us on a tour for our operation. That was a really neat visit. And then from there we pulled out, and
That was a Harvest Host.
yes, it was.
You want to tell everybody about Harvest Host?
Harvest Host. Go ahead, baby.
Oh, Harvest Host is a group that we join, and I think it's $70 a year. And on your trip, wherever you're going, you can pull up their app and find different places to stay overnight for free. They're usually farms, breweries, wineries, museums, things like that you would want to see anyway. You get to stay overnight. Usually they do not have any hookup, any electric or water or anything like that. You're just basically boondocking. But then you are encouraged to go tour their place and buy something. So that's a no-brainer, especially if you're staying at a brewery
Or a distillery.
But that lady happened to have dryer balls made out of wool, the real ones, not the ones you get at Walmart, but the real ones.
Yes, she also had sheep on site that she raised to shear the natural wool.
And they worked. We only bought one. I ended up losing it, I think at my sister's house, Rosemary's, in her washer dryer.
Where we happen to be at the moment.
Yeah.
Her dryer bowl might go missing.
I forgot the name of that farm. We stayed there overnight. It was great. I think I can go straight too.
I have no idea.
Go that way and go left. I'm going to go straight. It's just beautiful out here. These trees are all in blossom. I forget the name, but they're beautiful. We are out in the sticks. We're in a small town. There's only 600. I think the population's 600. And the town's like maybe a square mile. There's like maybe one light. A Dollar General. Liquor store. We've got a really good oldie goldie country station here. Look, baby, look at that wraparound porch.
Yep.
That is the whole way.
Screened in the back.
Nice. Got an above ground pool. What else do you need? Fireplace. Where do we go to next? State Park in Georgia.
Yeah. Chattahoochee Bend State Park. Just outside west of Noonan, Georgia.
Keep going, baby. I won't interrupt you.
Beautiful, beautiful park on the Chattahoochee River. Very, very hilly getting in and out of the park. But absolutely gorgeous. So we got to visit with Mike and Missy and the kids there, and we got to get over and see their new house. They came over and saw ours. We grilled out and had a nice campfire before they left and went home. very enjoyable stay there. We did some hiking along the river, and also we haven't really got into posting the videos, obviously, but if you look at, we do have a Facebook page for R&B Runaways that we have been posting pictures to. So now we're going to try to learn how to do some videos. And when we left Georgia,
we saw Caroline too.
Oh yeah, we saw Bobby's friend Caroline there in Peachtree City.
Very dear friend of 20 years. We court reported together. She also was close by. She came over and visited. We had a nice dinner, and we went to her place too.
And where did we go from there?
Oh boy, Tennessee.
And we stayed someplace on the way to Tennessee.
Oh, the brewery.
No, that was a distillery.
Yes. Sweet Lucy. Sweet Lucy.
We stayed at another Harvest Host location, and it was Pritchard's Distillery.
Yes.
And they made and distilled several flavors of rum. Very, very small family business. It was they actually were located in an old schoolhouse property that was probably built in the 30s, wasn't it?
Yes.
And their shipping was set up in the gymnasium. Shipping and storage was set up in the gymnasium, what had once been the gymnasium.
How we looking?
You're clear to the right. And of course, we went to the tasting the next morning and bought a couple of bottles of Sweet Lucy was the flavor that we decided on, which was incredible. So if you ever want to try a different kind of rum that's pretty high end, it wasn't cheap, but worth every penny. Pritchard's rum, one of which is Sweet Lucy. There was probably 6 or 8 different flavors of rum or more, maybe 10 that they distilled and bottled there on site.
And we got a nice t-shirt too, a long sleeve t-shirt. We've been trying to get t-shirts as souvenirs wherever we go, which brings me back. We forgot one thing with the sheep farm, which we can't remember the name of it right now, in North Florida.
Golden Meadow, but I'm not sure.
Golden Meadows, I believe that it was what it was. But the lambs, no, the sheep. It was sheep, right?
Yes.
They faint. There's
Oh, that was the goats.
the goats. Okay, we'll get this right. I'm sorry, guys. Goats that actually faint. So we've got a t-shirt that had to do with the fainting. We are now members of the Fainting Goat Society. But it's kind of neat to watch. They just, for no reason at all, faint.
And that is what they're called, fainting goats.
They have an anxiety attack and they just faint. For no reason at all. Just fall over. It's beautiful up here. Then we went to Tennessee. Well, we were in Tennessee for the distillery. Then we went and visited my daughter, Brandy, her husband, Michael, and our grandson, Sebastian, for a few days.
We had a lot of fun playing with Sebastian in the park for a couple of days.
Yep. He's a ball of energy. Adorable.
They have an interesting tradition there in Clarksville in their biggest city park, I'm not sure who does it, but they find little stones, preferably little flat stones, and they paint by hand on the stones little hearts, I love Clarksville or something like that, and they're meant to be keepsakes, and they just hide them in various places around the park for people to find and keep. That was something unusual. That was kind of neat. And of course we found a couple for Sebastian to keep, and I think Bobby has one.
Yes, I have one in my purse. Every time I reach into my purse and grab the stone, I think of little Sebastian, who's not so little anymore. He's 5. He's a linebacker. He's huge. Sweet as can be. I think we were in Tennessee for about a week. Oh yeah, we saw Ginger and Dean too.
Remind me where we stayed when we saw Ginger and Dean. Did we drive up there from where we were staying in Clarksville?
Yes, we went to their place. We didn't stay there, but we just drove over. Waverly. They live in Waverly, which is about an hour and a half from Clarksville. We visited them a few days. We went fishing too. No, we went fishing.
We tried. Got rained on, didn't we, that trip?
Yes.
Got rained out.
We've got some good pictures on our R&B Runaway Facebook page. Man, look at that old house.
Then when we left Clarksville, we came up to Illinois, right?
Yes, we stayed here for a couple of weeks on the farm, fished a lot.
But never enough for Bobby. We caught some very big catfish and a couple of very big bass. And we had some fish fries.
Sorry guys, we had a lot more energy yesterday when we made our first attempt at this. And then we got home to check it and there was no volume at all. Try to be a little more upbeat. We're tired for some reason. It's just overcast.
Well, we're up here and everybody of course is worried about the coronavirus, and we've been all over the country, so we're really trying to do our best to stay clear of the family while we stay at the farm for the first couple of weeks. Because for all we know, we're carrying the virus and aren't really showing any symptoms.
We have not been inside their house or touched them or hugged them or anything, so
we've sat around the campfire, but we keep our distance. It's frustrating, not to be able to really, sit down and visit and share a meal. But we're trying to do what we can do. We certainly don't want to be responsible for getting them sick. They're nice enough to let us come up here and stay.
Well, after we left Clarksville, Tennessee, when we went to Illinois, of course, we're going back from last year. We went to Arkansas for the Work Camper Rendezvous 2019. We stayed there for 10 days. It was amazing.
I was in Heber Springs, Arkansas, and we stayed in the Army Corps of Engineers Park, right on a lake, and there was a beautiful, beautiful trout stream on the other side of the dam. We have some beautiful pictures posted of the river and the dam from that stay. And that was a fun week. That was a very busy week. But a lot of fun. Made a lot of new friends.
Got to meet Johnny and Tracy personally.
Oh, finally. Oh, that was funny. We'd been watching RV, a couple that their YouTube channel is called RV SWAT. We had started watching them back when we first got this notion to do this. And we followed them for, almost a year and a half?
Yes.
And we knew they were coming to the rendezvous. And we actually pulled in probably about an hour ahead of them. And we saw them pull in and saw their yellow Jeep. And it's like, it's Johnny and Tracy! And it was so funny. That section of the park had already filled up, so they had to go down the road to another section that did not have water. I don't think they had utilities at all. And it was funny. The next morning, somebody across the way from us actually pulled out that wasn't there for the rendezvous, and Bobby had a notion and had an idea and got all excited, and we hopped in the truck and drove around the park until we found their yellow Jeep, and Bobby runs up and knocks on the door to tell them that we had a spot open with utilities next to us if they wanted to come over and move. And it was just really funny because we felt like we knew them and had been, friends for years. And they didn't know Bobby from Adam. We had chatted back and forth a couple of times on a YouTube live that they had done. And she goes and knocks on the door and introduces herself as Bobby with R&B Runaways. And it was just pretty funny, and we had some nice times with them. They did actually pack up real quick and come over into that open spot so they could have utilities. Really appreciated that. But that was quite comical.
Yeah. And they did mention too, I think Johnny mentioned it, they didn't realize how popular their YouTube channel had been until people started going up to them and shaking their hand and so glad we get to meet you and all that they've got all these friends out there on YouTube that they haven't met yet. So they've really impacted a lot of people's lives, and they've given us a lot of useful information to help us with this lifestyle. And they're not selfish. They're more than willing to share everything and how to make our life easier, what products to use.
And they share a lot of useful information, both good and bad, about what not to do, as well as, what to do, and sharing mistakes that they've made and things that have worked and didn't work, which has helped us out a lot. And they're not the only ones that do that, but we just really like them and consider them friends. I had gone back and forth with Johnny texting last week. We came close to crossing paths in Louisiana, but he was there for medical reasons, to go see his doctors and such, so they were busy, and then we ended up pulling out earlier than we had expected originally.
So at the Work Camper Rendezvous, it was basically a whole solid week of seminars, classes to take, just everything that you can imagine. How to do your taxes, how to form small businesses, how to cook in your RV, just a ton of information. They had a lot of dinners that they put on for us, and breakfasts and lunches.
Oh, and of course the job fair.
Job fair, yes, the job fair. Ooh, going around the curves. Job fair was where we found out that we wanted to go back to Florida and work in the Everglades. We had planned on gate guarding in Texas. That was our very first job we wanted to take, and Guard 1 was there to recruit.
But for the next spring and summer, not over the winter. They didn't have any spots for us for the fall or over the winter.
What is gate guarding, if anybody asks?
Gate guarding is primarily in Texas. There's some other states, but there's variations on this theme, but basically what we would be looking at is this would be drill sites where they're drilling for oil or fracking at most of the sites, I guess. And you're not really guarding anything. You're not really a guard. You're basically just a gatekeeper, and you're logging. You park your rig at the entrance to the work site, and you basically log everybody on and off the site, so that there's always an active list of who's on the property. If there were an unfortunate occurrence or an accident, they would need to make sure that everybody was accounted for. There's also some other restrictions that the different landowners might add to the normal routine, but the catch is you're there 24/7 for as long as you keep the position. So it's obviously targeted toward couples. You split your shifts as you desire. It really doesn't matter to anybody other than as long as somebody is available 24/7. Your utilities are provided for you. The guard company will provide a trailer with a big generator, your black water tank, and your freshwater tank, lights. So all your utilities are provided for you on site. So you have no living expenses. Generally, you want to buy your own bottled water or provide your own drinking water, because the water that they provide may not be the best. You probably really wouldn't want to drink that, but I guess you could boil it if you had to. But that pays pretty good, and it's a good way to bank some money fairly quickly, from what we've always heard. Right now, I believe that business is kind of slowing down with the price of oil and the price of gasoline coming down. That affects how aggressively the oil companies are drilling. But so when we left Arkansas, where did we go? Did we leave straight for the Everglades?
Well, we were very disappointed that Guard 1 said they weren't hiring until the summer. We happened to run into this other company that showed up, Guest Services, to recruit. People like to go fast here. I'm doing 65, speed limit's 55, they're going to pass me. It's alright, there's nothing else to do around here but speed. So we left Arkansas with that in mind, that Guest Services came to recruit. And they were recruiting for Mount Rainier in Washington, a national park. Well, we didn't want to go there because it's cold. We don't want to go to Washington right away. I mean, eventually we do. But they just happened to mention the Everglades, too. And even though we had just left Florida, we have never been to the Everglades. So we kept that strongly in the back of our mind, that maybe we do want to go work that. This was October. The season was just starting in the Everglades. End of October through April. So that being in the back of our head, I'm just saying, we went on to Dallas to see Roger's brother, my brother-in-law, and Pam, our sister-in-law. Dallas to stay and visit friends and family.
Oh, that's right.
And to kind of decide what we wanted to do, where we wanted to go next, because the gate guarding was not going to happen. And now we're reaching the end of October. Your brother's birthday is the 4th, November 4th, I believe.
I believe.
So we were there for his birthday. God, I can't remember what his birthday is. Sorry, Richard. But we were there for your brother's birthday. We are now in Harrisburg. Everything's like 20 miles away. 20 miles, 40 miles. The town that Rosemary and Dwayne live in, and Leah, I'm not leaving you out, is so small, but it's like 12 miles to the nearest soda. If you want to get a soda, just leaving their house. Once you get into town from leaving their house, that's Thompsonville, then you've got another 10 to 15 miles to hit another town. This is the one we chose today because it has the bank that we can go to. Anyway, so we left. No, we stayed in Texas for another, 10 days at Fat Cat RV Park?
Yep. And we decided to pursue the job in the Everglades. Now there's where we went and had breakfast, remember?
Oh, yeah, that place is awesome. Guess we need to look for the bank.
And we followed through and received a job offer from Guest Services to work down at Flamingo Park Campground in Everglades National Park.
So we started our journey after a great time in Dallas for 10 days. We started our journey back to Florida to go to the bottom of Florida, the Everglades, Florida Bay. Where we worked till March 9th. No, March 6th. We were supposed to stay till the end of April, but it wasn't everything that it panned out to be.
Me to pause this for now while we...
Yeah, let's pause it while we find the bank.